Oh, let you try to trip him. You tried to trip him. You tried to trip him. Allah, is this what? Look at these.
Any comment, Sadiq?
There's a lot of misinformation, disinformation and lies out there that gives an impression that London isn't safe.
Really? All just disinformation, is it? Then what's this? Must be the algorithm.
Some of these algorithms amplify hate.
Must be Donald Trump lying.
It's really important to counter the propaganda coming from President Trump.
None of this is happening. It's all just disinformation from America.
A lot of this misinformation, disinformation and lies comes from the United States of America.
Because when I look at this...
Is that what they're doing? They all in. So they're Shake Shack's barricading theirs. Oh wow.
I immediately think textbook example of a progressive, diverse city.
I recognised why you're a monoethnic populist, you may have a problem with a progressive, diverse, successful city like London. One of my jobs is to talk about city, but to rebut the lies and the nonsense about London.
Oh, it's a peaceful utopia, Source. Just trust me, bro.
Clapham Common shenanigans, bro.
It's just a fact that London is just far safer than not just any major city in the United States of America.
Yeah, while that might be technically true, Sadiq might not want to interrogate further as to the reason why.
Make sure our diplomats have the facts at their disposal to rebut the concerns people have from amplifiers of misinformation. May believe that. We've got to address that because sometimes perception can be reality.
All this is just perception, it's not reality. But wait until you hear about how the diversity is our greatest strength crowd responded. London then? London now.
Jesus Christ, man. What is going on?
Yeah, funny how times change.
Fucking idiots, bro. Oh, let you try to trip him. You tried to trip him. You tried to trip him. Allah.
And it all happened in Clapham, which is in Wandsworth. Sadiq Khan having awarded Wandsworth the title of London's Borough of Culture. Really? What type of culture is this?
Stand there.
Feral urban nihilism. People had to be locked inside shops for their own safety. Shoppers were very scared. There was one lady with a pram and a baby. She was terrified, but according to leftists, this is just normal school holiday frivolity.
But, you know, the hunt for the M&S speckled egg cookies has gone a bit too far. I mean, it's the school holidays. You get these stories every time all these kids are released from school.
I'm not sure you do.
You do.
This is not a video you see every
You black-clad mobs of hundreds of aggressive feral youths, terrifying ordinary people and causing rampant chaos. Happens every weekend.
This happens every weekend in Soho. There are these, like, fashion pop-ups.
What?
There are these fashion pop-ups, and you should see the scenes. There are these kids in, like, you know, groups of, you know, maybe 80 or 90 of them just rushing up and down Greek and Frith Street and in Soho Square. Like, this isn't new. Kids have always been...
Making excuses for degeneracy.
You know.
Yeah, doesn't happen where I live in the Cotswolds. Wonder why that is. It does happen in Clapham, where 74% of people under the age of 20 are non-white. Wonder what the difference could possibly be. The fact that they think this is a perfectly acceptable prosaic part of living in a diverse society shows that they're perfectly content to allow parts of the UK to resemble South African levels of low-trust bedlam, while simultaneously somehow championing it all as our greatest strength.
Man, what's going on? What's going on? What happened here? What's going on? What's going on?
Still, so long as Labour MPs can grin like idiots while claiming London is safe, because they can still do silly little dances in the streets. Doesn't that alone prove it's safe? It took days for Clapham's MP to even comment on the disorder. Presumably, she thinks a lack of reparations is to blame.
The call for reparations is grounded in international law. Racism persists because the harm has never been repaired.
Strange how newspapers pixelate out all the faces of those responsible, while leaving one random white person's face crystal clear. They're even claiming that the riots were justified because a relative handful of police made a vain effort to stop them. Yeah, trying to prevent criminals from committing crimes is now an act of institutional racism.
Is it a situation where we've seen with sort of like many of the marches recently, where many of these youngsters involved were black youngsters? Are the police still wary of that accusation of racism?
Oh, well, I suspect so, without a doubt. That's why stop and search figures have plummeted in recent years. It's why police officers tell me on a weekly basis they don't want to do stop and search because they're afraid of an accusation of racism which could blight or even end their career.
The scenes are the latest in a trend in which large groups of teenagers run riot through shops and high streets. Last month, footage showed hooded teenagers running through the streets of Wolverhampton, hurling eggs at buses and pedestrians. It's also happening in Birmingham. With the chaos now spreading to other parts of London.
Guess who's live you're watching?
A former Met Police detective warned that this is all an ominous indication that major UK cities could see mass rioting and looting this summer.
Well, if we look back over recent years, we've had these trends of large groups of young people going into shops, often shoplifting. You might remember the trend that was called steaming from some years ago. And this is a recurring thing. But there's deeper concerns about this recent activity because I think the pathetically low number of arrests that have been made just shows that there's not enough police officers on the street to deal with these incidents. And as history has taught us, if you empower people who are getting up to criminal behaviour, their behaviour will only get worse. It will only be repeated. And my concerns are, if this isn't nipped in the bud, we're soon going to see a repeat of the dreadful rioting of 2011.
This week it was revealed that police failed to solve 92% of burglaries across the country. 92%. Across a third of neighbourhoods in England and Wales, not a single break-in was solved. And fewer than 1 in 100 mobile phone thefts led to a suspect being charged. Meanwhile, thousands of people across the country every single year are still being charged for offensive social media posts. They've literally sacrificed patrolling the streets to patrol tweets instead, creating a state of utter lawlessness where actual criminals are emboldened.
It's tyranny, it's mob rule, it's anarchy, call it what you will. But of course, in many regards, it's because of the fact that the police have surrendered the streets. They don't patrol the streets like they did back in 40, 50 years ago. And criminals know this. They know that the likelihood of running into a police officer as you sprint from a shop with your bags full of loot is nigh on, well, just not going to happen. And so over the years, these people have been empowered. They gather up in groups. They know they can go into a shop, loot it and not be caught. And the pathetically low number of arrests is not going to serve as a deterrent.
This is what a low-trust society devolves to, when no social ties bind strangers, no belief that property can be obtained other than by force, where looting is licit and theft redistribution. This is London, but it might be any city from antiquity menaced by barbarism and envy.